amazing jellyfish, rumbles of all sizes, welcome back to A.S.K's videos. If you're new here, I do cartoon reviews and countdowns, and if you enjoy that kind of stuff, consider subscribing. Today, I'm super excited because I'm joined with my friend, Colli! If you didn't already know, and why wouldn't you, Colli does similar cartoon reviews and states his all-around opinions on a large variety of cartoons. It would mean a lot to me personally if you went over to his channel, link is in the description below and card above as always, and subscribe to him. So, this is the first legitimate collab I've ever done, so I'm super pumped. Today we are counting down the top 10 worst modern cartoons. Rules are simple. Only shows from after 2010 are allowed, unless they were made in like 2009 and went up to like 2014. They have to be abysmal cartoons that we both hate and give our reasonings for. This video will be split into two segments, so if you want to see the 5-to-1 video, check that out in the card above and description below as well. We will alternate each spot and talk about the shows independently. But don't worry, we both have the same opinions on the shows. Hopefully. So, with no further ado, let's get into the top 10 worst modern cartoons. Let's do this.
Before I begin, let me introduce myself. I am Colli, a fellow critic, and I run my very own YouTube channel where I talk about my opinions on all sorts of cartoons with reviews, discussions, and more. Hopefully the link to that will be down in the description below. And I will admit, I have seen a lot of bad shows in my time, and Mr. Pickles is one of them. It relies solely on shock humor and extreme gross outs, and it's honestly vulgar. Being on Adult Swim, it seems like it's a tradition to have horrible animation, which is something Mr. Pickles definitely follows. And this, all combined with the extreme gross out, makes this cartoon one of the most visually unappealing I've ever seen. But what makes me despise this show as much as I do is the sheer mean spirit of it. Mr. Pickles is a horrible character, and the amount of butt monkeys makes you just despise majority of our main characters. I don't understand the appeal of seeing a little boy get bullied for humor and this crazy dog, and it's just a stupid show. Oh, not to mention how their grandpa is basically Candace from Phineas and Ferb. Like, hello, did no one realize that? And the pacing is absolutely horrible as well. So much is just happening at once, and it's hard to keep up with. To think this is from the same network that made Rick and Morty,
which is a truly intellectual show with very dead memes.
This is just overall some of Adult Swim's worst stuff, and I would not recommend this show to anybody.
Number 9. Ben 10 2016. Okay, before you storm to the comments stating how wrong I am and destroy the dislike button with every Google account you have, know that this list is an opinion. Well, specifically 2 opinions, but you get the drift. So, why do I dislike the Ben 10 reboot? Well, it, like a few more choices on the list, insults every aspect of its previous franchise. The timeline has gone back, for example, because apparently Cartoon Network decided to bring in a new generation of Ben 10 fans. Yeah, like they ever put kids first. Don't they realize that by rebooting the timeline from the previously 17-year-old Ben after whopping 3 other reboots, and a few other reasons I'll get to in a second, you're making the old, more passionate fans revile in horror and hate of what their childhood has become. I bet you more than 70% of all children watching the reboot right now have never legitimately sat down and watched the first 3, excluding Omniverse because that's a newer one. And then there's the animation. They rebooted the animation and pretty much all the reappearances, except Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, because they were in the same time frame. It went from dark, not too flashy and cool, to anime-like and overall better animation, to the Omniverse style that really took it to the anime territory. And now we get the typical 2010s Cartoon Network cartoon animation. Flashy, boring, repetitive, not too much fun to it. They use the newer software to their advantages, but make it in a much worse way. The comedy is not there. Grandpa Max is just not a character anymore, to more of a brick with arms and legs, and the villains are the absolute worst. It takes the mature side that Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and even the original had, and flushed it, and took the only funny, experimental side of Omniverse and shredded it. Sorry for going on a little too long, but as a diehard fan that pretty much is that kid at the stage trying to even witness his idol firsthand, I hate to see this franchise wasted like this.
With the friends? No way! Cruising on down Main Street, you're relaxed and...
Ugh. No, not the SpongeBob episode. Literally, ugh. This show has no purpose, literally no purpose. It's a Netflix original. And guess what? The original Magic School Bus is on freaking Netflix. Oh, but Colli, they changed up the No, they did not. No. That was pointless. It added nothing, and I just hate this goddamn show. Okay then, let's look at it properly. The animation, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's so stiff and unfluid. It really just bores you. There's nothing dynamic about it. It doesn't invest you. It's just so boring. It's like it's just a bootleg, less interesting version of the original. All the characters have been over-exaggerated, and I said it's really boring to watch. And I was not even over-exaggerating when I said this has no purpose, because it doesn't. It changed nothing from the original. The new frizz, I guess that's cool, but it's sort of just a stupid addition. It's just them trying to intrigue viewers while they're trying to save a few cheap bucks out of voice acting. And the theme song barely changed. It's just a horrible reboot. At least Teen Titans Go changed the formula. That was never meant to be a continuation of the original. This changes nothing, and this is something reboots should do. I know I praise this show a lot, but DuckTales reboot, that changed the formula. This is the exact same. There's nothing interesting about it. All it does is make it more boring, less humorous, and dumbed down for little kids. This show really is one that I wouldn't even let really young kids watch because it's just a bore.
Number 7. Rocket Monkeys. Well, I've already talked about this show in depth in another video, so I'll keep this brief. The characters are stupid with no motivations or charisma to them. It rehashes like every cartoon ever, with the two cliche, idiot anthropomorphics. Its animation sucks, with gross out animation it took 3 hours to make in Flash. The plots are stupid and all over the place. The voices are the most insufferable and annoying sounds on the face of the earth. And it's a typical Nickelodeon 2010s show. Presenting Rocket Monkeys. Ugh.
The Problem Solvers is a show that ran from 2011 to 2013 on Cartoon Network. A time where we got shows as phenomenal as Adventure Time and as hilarious as regular show. Cartoon Network were in their renaissance period, yet they managed to slap out a show as abysmal as this. The main complaint I heard about the show originally was within the art style, and I assumed that was the only big flaw within the show. But boy was I absolutely wrong. The show has a very interesting premise, it had a lot of potential, yet the execution was so poor. Our main character is extremely unforgettable and boring. Our two side characters are so unlikable, especially Alfie. I swear, if he wasn't a cartoon character, I'd be behind bars already. The comedy is as unfunny as that joke I just made and really dumb. It's just a failed attempt to appeal to hip, cool, pizza-loving, gross 10-year-old boys. And the pacing leaves no time for us to get invested within the plot of the characters. It just goes as fast as the seizure-inducing imagery, which I haven't even gotten into yet. Yeah, you've probably all heard it already. This show looks abysmal. The flashiness is insane, and not to mention the awful character designs and speaking animation, which is absurdly lazy by the way, and a voice acting that is as ear-grating as modern Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents. I originally thought it would be a mediocre show with a bad art style choice, but it is a lot worse.
Hey, you still here? What are you waiting for? The part 2 will come out next week, so click the link in the card above in a week. But don't go, you can watch Colli's and my content for the next 168 hours. Don't eat, don't sleep, just watch us. So, what are you waiting for? Go, my beautiful Padawans! Go and discover the world for yourselves!